been, and certainly in the future should be, a committee that looks forward, really, where do we think the district should be in 2, 3, 5 years, and what can we do to support efforts to make that future vision more realistic. We also discussed the possibility of having strategic planning take on sort of project issues that may not necessarily fit well within one of our current standing committees, not turning strategic planning into an ad hoc committee that knocks things off, one piece at a time, but that we recognize that we may have that opportunity to do that. And especially if it's an issue that fits in with something that would be a little further off in the future. Sustainability issues certainly seem to fit reasonably well with that. We also talked about sort of re-envisioning and strengthening communication with the community, and how can we look at doing things a little differently? What is the best way to potentially use town halls or other methods to have more of a sort of a give and take, more real-time communication feedback. Lots of what we do in communication tends to be communicating out, which is important, and we're still going to continue to do that. But we'd like to also have a better opportunity to get some more real-time feedback and discussion back and forth. So that can inform a lot of what the district does going forward. Mr. Ovadia, I don't know if you wanted to add some more detail to any of that. And we kept it pretty high level, because one thing we want to do is go back to the rest of you as board members for your input. Also, is what do you see strategic planning as how would that be most effective for you and for your committees as well?
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. It's definitely committee figuring itself out a little bit, which is rare. But I don't know if there are other thoughts based on what Mr. Mayor has shared that anyone would like to venture, because we have to make some progress as we move forward. All right, if not, we'll simmer on that. And we will move back to Mrs. Arroyo to move curriculum and instruction.
Right, thank you. The superintendent recommends that I move the following: 17.1, approval of attendance at conference and workshops for 2022-2023 school year. 17.2, resolution to approve settlement agreement. 17.3, approval of agreements for the 22-23 school year. 17.4, approval of service agreement between the board and Amazing Transformation LLC to provide behavior consultation analysis. 17.5, approval of professional development proposal, math teacher and administrator training. 17.6, approval of an extraordinary unspecifiable services contract with Brett Denovi and Associates LLC for an intensive behavioral support program. May I have second or questions? Okay, second. Okay, Ms. Sugars.
Okay, board members, we've opened up the voting. You may cast your votes. We have a unanimous yes vote.
All right, wonderful. We got Mr. to move B and F.
Okay, so the superintendent recommends and I move the following: 18.1, approval of bill lists; 18.2, resolution for the award of bids; 18.3, submission of comprehensive maintenance plan and M1; 18.4, resolution determining the form and other details of $300 million aggregate principal amount of school bonds, series 2022 of the Board of Education of the Township of Cherry Hill in the County of Camden, New Jersey, providing for their sale and determining other matters in connection therewith. Are there any questions? Okay, do I have a second? Mr. Mayor. Okay, Mrs. Sugars?
Okay, board members, the online voting is open. You may cast your votes. And we have a unanimous yes vote.
All right, wonderful. Next, we've got Mrs. Elmore Stratton to move HR.
Superintendent recommends and I move the following. Termination of 19.1, termination of employment certificated, 19.2, termination of employment non-certificated, 19.3, appointments certificated, 19.4, appointments non-certificated, 19.5, assignment salary change certificated, 19.6, assignment salary change non-certificated, 19.7, other compensation certificated, and then 19.8, approval of sidebar agreement. Do I have a second? Ms. Winters, and any questions? Awesome, Ms. Sugars.
Okay, board members, the online voting is open. You may cast your votes. And we have a unanimous yes vote.
Right, nothing for strategic planning this evening to move. New business? Oh, sorry. P&L, Mrs. Fletcher. Sorry about that.
The superintendent recommends and I move the following. 20.1, the approval of harassment, intimidation, bullying, investigation decisions. 20, oh, and then wait, up, hold on. I'm going backwards. I apologize. And then we have 19 and. Is that it? Where is it?
20.1.
I did that. What about all the first and second? Oh, that's next time. That's right. Yeah, so just that. Any questions besides myself? I'm a little off. I think I'm in the future in this meeting. Any questions? Any second? Mrs. Stern? Mrs. Sugars, please open the vote.
Ms. Sugars, I have to abstain.
Because it's only one item, you can just abstain. Okay, you may cast your votes. And other than Mrs. Arroyo's abstention, we have a unanimous yes vote.
Okay, nothing to move for strategic planning. New business, old business. Okay, that brings us to second public comment. All right, the second public comment section is for any topic. 3 minutes. And we'll alternate between the room and online as we do. And online, oh, actually, we start in the room if anyone wants to come up. All right, Mr. Short, floor is yours.
Rick Short, Cherry Hill. Congratulations to the district and to the board for the bond passing. I think we can all agree in this room that we want to make the best possible bond and maximize the best for our children. I think we can all agree on that. And let's also put a congratulations out for the girls West soccer team who won today and is going to the States on Sunday. So first off, for the next 6 years, every board member should wake up every day and say, where's the $900 million? Where's the $900 million? That's enough money to buy 2 elementary schools. And some of my calculations come in around 9 million that we need to find to kind of clean up some of the things we missed. let's briefly review. We forgot the esports for the Cherry Hill West. We forgot the robotics lab for Cherry Hill West. We forgot bleachers at the middle schools. We forgot all the display boards for the games. We forgot on the safety end of things, probably the most important thing. And I'll jump over to our subcontractor who really made some mistakes. Our subcontractor architect. Why even bother go over them? But the biggest thing on the safety end is parking bollards. We would never want to have an accident like a recent one at Target and Cherry Hill. And I come up here year after year and mention it. We do have the money. I hope we put parking bollards out in front of every school for the old gas break mistake. These things are all preventable. Also, we could go a level higher on our fire security. I've done a little research. You're not required to put that in labs, but 25% of the fires that happen in schools are due to kids. And if a kid were ever to do something dumb, it might be a good idea to have sprinklers in our science labs with gas. And that's on the safety end of things. On the word of going green, we really have a lot of work to do on the green end of things. I think we might be able to agree. The AP rooms are failing. The roofs are failing to go green. And we could even go a level higher on with green. And I think we all might agree on that too. So let's work together and maximize the money. Thank you.
Thank you. On the line, we have Carolina Bevitt. Okay, I think we lost her.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. No, it just took a minute for me to have to unmute. Hi, Carolina Bevid, Cherry Hill, Cherry Hill. I wanted to make a comment that maybe isn't a BoE issue, but I just wanted everyone to hear. Schools just got finished with their Halloween parties, and PTAs pre-COVID were allowed to have 3 parents per classroom attend the parties. And this year, post-COVID, only 2 parents are allowed to attend and no food is allowed to be served. So I'd just like to request that 3 parents be allowed to attend once again, especially if no food is being served at the parties. So typically the way the parties are run is that parents plan activities for the students. Usually the activities are done in stations and the students rotate through the stations. The less parents you have, the less stations you can have, the less activities you can do with the children. And like I said, with the absence of a food component to the party, you're having to plan more activities, and it's really not possible to do that well with just 2 parents in the room. So since pretty much everything has gone back to pre-COVID policies, I think that this is something that should definitely go back to a 3-parent rule, especially since it allows even more parents to attend the parties, which a lot of parents look forward to, and it just provides a better experience for the kids. So I just want to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the room? All right. Ms. Yards?
Alana Yaris, Cherry Hill. I also want to speak about Halloween parties and parties just in general. Halloween is a religious holiday. I don't know. It's a holiday my family doesn't celebrate. And we have a whole party about it. We also have a whole party about Valentine's Day that my family also doesn't celebrate. In fact, there are rooms set up in all of the elementary school buildings for people who don't participate in these holidays to go to instead of participating with their classes. Feels like they're being segregated. I know that's like a strong word, but when I signed my kids out of school early that day so that they wouldn't be separated from their class, the reason I put was so that they wouldn't be segregated from their classmates for not celebrating that holiday. I think we should do away with Halloween and Valentine's parties altogether. Halloween is celebrated outside of school. the kids can go trick or treating, they can get their candy. There's plenty of trunk or treats that happen outside of school hours. I think it's fine to talk about pumpkins and bats and however else you equate learning during the month of October, but I just don't think Halloween and Valentine's include all of our students. And for a district that prides itself on its diversity, equity, and inclusion, my children, and I'm sure others, feel a little excluded. Thank you.
Thank you. On the line, I believe we have Dr. Podowitz.
My name is Jeff Podowitz, and I live in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. In an op-ed piece on New Jersey Spotlight dated April 7, 2017, Ms. Lynn Strickland wrote that the hot button issue of the day is fairness in school funding. The way special education aid is calculated and distributed, referring to SFRA, stands out as a sore thumb. The stated intent of SFRA was to distribute aid to all students in an equitable way, except in the SFRA money. The money has never followed the individual child in special education services, nor did the designers intend it to be. I agreed with her, especially since Cherry Hill was being cheated and is still being cheated today by the state of New Jersey. I read an over 25-page paper entitled Equality versus Equity by Professor Martha Minow concerning schools. The article states, individual accommodations for students with disabilities represent one version of equity, already mandated and implemented by law under frameworks labeled in terms of anti-discrimination, inclusiveness, or equality. It is a fact and part of public record that there are individuals that are being forced to file state complaints and even multiple federal complaints that involve our school district concerning individuals with disabilities. These people are being forced to stand up for themselves and others so they receive equality and equity from our school district. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. In the room, Dr. Yaris.
Yoni Yaris, Cherry Hill. I want to talk about testing for a little bit. I've always hated it. A fascinating discussion having sat through CNI and this. I think it's very important the state has said, we're going to hit the reset button. So I think all of us have to reset our mindset. Something I really like about our district is that we have our own internal metrics. I think for the board table, we should be focusing on the district's assessments that are based on our curriculum. Are students learning our curriculum well now? When a state tries to design a standardized test, they fail. It's very important to remember that across higher education right now, SATs and ACTs are being thrown out the window. Across the board, they're not being looked at in the admissions process, which will probably trickle down now that we're going to look away from standardized testing as being an exit policy for K-12 education. It's probably going to take a little bit longer and some kicking and dragging of some talking heads, but we're coming. But I think for us, if we're looking at how to measure what we're looking at in Cherry Hill on our own, we should be looking at our curriculum and using that as a baseline metric of how our students are doing. The testing numbers are going to go crazy, but we don't know the baseline. We also have not started measuring what if students also learn during this time period, the additional skill sets, the fundamentals that now make a new education. We're still having a conversation about the education that no longer exists now. It's gone. We've got to move past that, and it's hard. It takes change is really challenging, but we really, in order for us to best serve the students and for all of you to do the best job and really work on that, is asking the other questions. What should we be talking about? Which is really looking at how in Cherry Hill do we measure success of our students? And we can do that through looking at our assessment procedures that are based on what we're actually teaching in the classroom and how we're going about that. I also just want to give a quick acknowledgement that Dr. Goldthorpe, resignation was accepted at this meeting, just to quickly transition away. He was really a huge force in Cherry Hill in terms of helping us get Eureka and the other science curriculums done in the past couple of years. We were definitely going to miss him. And I greatly appreciate someone who impacts education, not in the building per se, but every student has really been impacted by his efforts and his ability to go out there and be tasked by the board and from the administration to go implement new things as we're looking at how do we best serve students. Thank you.
Thank you. No one on the line? Anyone additional in the room? All right, we'll turn to Dr. Melange for superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Avadia. And thank you for the people that made comments tonight. First, I want to thank Jack for getting up during the first public comment and making his statements.
Always appreciate students who are willing to get up and share their perspective and to share their voices. So Jack, thank you for getting up and speaking earlier this evening. We certainly will be continuing to take a long, hard look at every project as it goes out for bid. Not everything that we would like to do in the school district, unfortunately, could be included in the referendum. We talked about that from January through June, when ultimately the final projects were determined. There's quite a bit of work that will continue to go on in the school district as part of our capital projects and as part of the ongoing work. There are also things that we will intend to do and will look to do and continue to do in the district that would not be financed as part of a 20-year bond or a 20-year referendum. Certain tools, certain materials, certain things that go on in classrooms that will be able to be included and be used that wouldn't be part of the referendum, but you'll hear and hear about the advent of those things that are coming through. I will ask, Dr. Mahan will follow up with the elementary principals about parties and classroom parties and what they look like. And we had a couple people that spoke about that this evening, both the structure of them in terms of the number of parents that are there, how they are scheduled, when they are held, what that looks like. So there'll be additional discussion. I would expect that people would hear more from their principals. Always good discussion. And I've heard great discussions and follow-up between PTAs and the building principals regarding classroom parties. And Mr. Short mentioned special congratulations to the High School West girls soccer team who won the state semifinal game today. And they'll play, Mr. Short, you said on Sunday? Yes, do we know where? Kane, at Kane. Yeah, so the West girls soccer team will play on Sunday at Kane in the state championship. It'll be the first time the West girls soccer team has appeared. They won their first South Jersey finals the other day. The West boys play tomorrow at home in a state semifinal. They're looking to go back to the state finals for the second year in a row. We also had great success with our marching bands. High School East Marching Band and High School West Marching Band compete with different organizations. I believe High School East finished first in the state and won the best color guard, and they won their division this year. High School West in their first year back competing in a larger group also did very well. I know that Mr. Mark and Mr. Keller have been in communication with both of them. Extremely proud of the students who are involved, the staff who are involved, and the parental support. Marching band and being involved in marching band is a special, unique endeavor, especially when it comes to the competitions. For me as superintendent, one of the most heartening things to see throughout was the support from the East Band and Color Guard for the West Band and Color Guard, and for the West Band and Color Guard for the East Band and Color Guard, communicating via Instagram and through social media and sending messages and lending support to one another. So a very positive thing to continue to see. So election results, tonight's is election day. We'll look forward to the election results coming out sometime tonight, tomorrow, probably, as they get in through counting. So thank you.
All right, motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor? All right, we're adjourned. Thanks. All in favor, raise your hand. There you go. All right. Have a good night, everyone.